All right. Hello. We are, I believe, going live. We're live. Welcome, everybody, to the Chattering Magpies Chit Chat for PrePub for Accessible Bookworm Part 5, Volume 11, Part 7. I am showing the wrong thumbnail. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Jeez. Sorry, you guys. Discord peeps will know this, but we did, shoot. Okay, this is, let's see. I am, oh no. Okay, so I am having some technical trouble here. Let's see what's happening. Anyway, gang, while I fix these things, say hello and tell me all about what's happening and your impressions about this part of the PrePub. I would love to hear them.
Hi, YouTube.
So you guys can't see it because, again, I'm having some... Here? Okay, we're here. Hold on. Okay, I'm getting there. So today with me are the Discord peeps who are Ko-fi members and who support me all the time by doing insanity and joining with me on lives, of course. And I think I got this all done. Okay, hooray! Studio mode. And okay, got it. Whew. What a day. Okay, let's get this started. Let's forget that I had total issues with the technology. So today we're going to be talking about the this volume's epilogue and another short story, which was a Hannelore POV, and it was basically showing us the transference ceremony entirely from Hannelore's point of view. Of course, remember that Hannelore is absolutely besotted, not besotted like in a romantic sense, but she's sees as Rozemyne as wow, somebody who's super amazing. And so it's lovely to see her
Hannelore was
POV.
not
Pardon?
Hannelore was not the only one that was amazed.
Exactly. Yes. We did have other people. It was the whole room was wow. And of course, we had a specific white-haired tsundere individual there who was literally dying.
Though about Lieseleta, he wanted to marry Rozemyne at one point, and Bride Stealing did her.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Rozemyne needs Ferdinand to control her, he needs somebody to control him.
Yes, as we saw, his mother found him Sieglin 2.0 to keep him in check, and I think, I would trust Sieglin's choice. Honestly, I have the highest respect for Sieglin, so any girl that she chose for him is gonna be right for him. Now, before we go delve headfirst into it, let me just say hello to Early Gang and some of the peeps that are on the chat. So Thimonia DeVille was the very first one. Again, I'm sorry, Southeast Asia Gang. I love to read your comments on the first, while I'm waiting for, for the time to go live. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. Also Akihana and Jenny M, Crystal Waterstar, all of those peeps. Right now you're sleeping and in Schlaftraum's embrace. I hope that you have beautiful dreams and hope you enjoy the replay. Crystal Waterstar says, taking my favorite moments of this part is Lieseleta being denied of his painting materials and dashing ahead after the ceremony. I feel sorry for his fiancée who has to deal with his passion for art. So there you go. Right up with what Jazz was saying earlier. So the question here is, Emails says, Magpie, why early? By the way, Emails is our first, not our first, our latest member. So they just joined in a few days ago. So welcome. I'm sorry that we couldn't time the chit chat for your time zone, but I promise you it's for a good reason. Magpie has to pay the rent and pay the bills, so she does have to, submit herself to clients and meetings in the afternoon and the evening. So this is just one of those weeks where I am super busy at night and in the afternoon. So like I'm doing a lot of stuff like in the morning and at noon. So just bear with me and we'll return hopefully next week. I'm not promising anything, but I'm like 79% sure. Okay, maybe 80% sure that we will go back to original scheduling next week. So anyway, happy to see you all, and I hope you enjoy the replay if you aren't able to be here live. Also, hello to Gillian Paris and the Crazy Ace and Fabs, who says these latest chapters are so awesome. Yes, I really did need to see the transference ceremony from a point of view outside of Rozemyne's head. And of course, we have Patrick, who's here with us, but unfortunately says, hey Magpie, I'll probably be a little late, but I'll hop on as soon as I get home. Okay, no problem. Drive safely, and here have a whole bunch of hearts. Thank you so much for your support. Also, Felix says, Magpie, you said that when the series would end, that there would be so many fan fictions to read, and you were right. It's just some I thought would be done. They're still ongoing, and we only have 2 months left of the series. I know, you guys, and what I replied is right there. If you like a fanfic, tell the author that you like it. There's a whole bunch of people who read a fanfic, but they won't like support the author or share it on Reddit or do some like. Let the author know that you like it. There are like at least 2 authors in the bookworm community who receive a lot of criticism and stuff, but their work is really good. So any positive feedback you can give your favorite authors, go and do it. Support the people, the creatives in this community. Support the memers. Support the fanfic writers. Support the fan art artists. It'll just
it's me.
Just, pardon? Oh, sorry. What?
Yeah, I said support me.
Yeah. Well, I'm part of this whole community of creators, so yeah. Support me too. But I'm just focusing on other people because it's good to shed light on other people. Yeah. And yes, thank you for those of you who just do support with your comments and sharing this. Always appreciated. So Kate Pearl also is working and will join us for the rewatch. And Eric Ford says, early gang ready to cut onions while I'm at work. Oh, is it the Grisha point of view? Oh, yes, I bet it is. Anyway, to all of you who are joining us, I am so happy to see you here. And going to the bottom end, the latest comments, we have Tarot Moon Dream says, also, did anyone see the cover for the Hannelore sidebook cover? Yes, it came out like earlier this week, or maybe earlier. The Hannelore spin-off. So once we are done with the entire light novel PrePub, I'm just gonna have to wait a little, but then we're gonna talk about the Hannelore. We need to talk about the Hannelore. It's a good little story with stuff to talk about. I can't talk more about it without spoiling it. Yes.
Is it only her POV?
Yes, it is only her POV. So that's why it leaves a lot of room for discussion and stuff. But let's not talk more about it. We can talk about it offline, which we were doing before we went live. Yes. So, okay. So let's do this, everybody. It is 2:11, and it is, I think, high time for us to get started on talking about the content of this PrePub. So if you guys need a summary, I added it to the description of this video so you can follow along if you didn't read it, or if, I don't know, for some reason you need it. It's there. So let's talk about the epilogue. Whose POV was it, and what did it cover?
Gretia's POV.
Yes, Gretia's POV. And when did it start, and what was she doing when the story started?
So it started just before Ferdinand and Rozemyne went into the Foundation. They dismissed their retainers except for the namesworn, and swore the namesworn to silence because, well, you're not supposed to tell people about where the Foundation is.
Yes.
It was only Gretia and Justus. The other name sworn was on the gates.
Yes. So
I was wondering.
hold on. So we had Strahl, probably not a name sworn, but definitely he's very loyal to Ferdinand. Strahl on the Darkness Gate, and then we had Lawrence, Matthias, Eckhart, Cornelius. You know, all of the other very the most loyal, the core, I would suppose. They were all guarding each of the fragments from the the fragments that they got from the tree. Oh yeah. Why did you feel bad for Eckhart?
Because he was fighting. He was fighting the crazy Dunkelfolkers.
Get back!
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But I had this image of like Eckhart, skinny little guy, and a bunch of football players just ramming right into him.
Oh.
Including Lestalot.
And he's just desperately there, like, get back, you fools!
Yeah, man.
Well,
I don't know.
I had
the quote. I just found the exact quote from this part. Hey, I told you to stay back. Keep your distance. From the Eckhart ordinance.
Yes.
Like he has like
Insert Doomslayer
stick
meme.
with fire. Yeah. He's like, get back.
So you know who I feel more sorry for though? I feel more sorry for Cornelius. He has to deal with like one man brute squad. The brute squad that is Bonnie Fadius, you guys, is at the Ahrensbach gate, and we don't know what's going on. All we know is that he is carrying and dragging around Cornelius like a rag doll. What is going on? What the insanity?
The devoted grandfather. We love him.
And then Grecia's wondering, she's like, you guys know way too much about poison.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna get into that one. Actually, before this whole thing about Ferdinand taking Rozemyne into the Foundation Hall, it all started with Grecia and Justus going through like all the steps required to poison test, and you guys, it's really excessive. It borders on paranoid hypochondriac almost.
However, it may not be as excessive as we think it is.
Yes.
Because she lets drop a certain factoid that is semi-important. I'll let someone else
Very important. Well, what is the factoid that is important? Do you remember what it is, Jess?
That there
they were taught by Justus. That's all I know. They were taught by Justus thorough methods.
Yes.
That were non-standard.
Yes. Yeah. So basically it was foods from other regions other than Ahrensbach, foods that will be harmful when eaten together, foods that will react with saliva to be poisonous, and again, like Patrick said, and he did, basically this is important. It's not paranoid because Ahrensbach's nobility right now is very unstable. Yes, take it away, Patrick.
So there's still a Detland faction because they haven't learned their lesson yet. Kind of like their Delulu.
I couldn't believe that.
And then there's the Letizia faction, and they both seem to want to assassinate Rozemyne before the Archduke Conference.
I was about to ask about that. I am uncertain if I understood it correctly. Did Gracia just think that Letizia faction will want to kill Rozemyne and promote Letizia, or did they actually try it? I couldn't understand it from the text.
I think it's a given, though.
It wasn't attempted yet, but the intelligence gathered by Justus and Ferdinand's retainers had uncovered this plot.
Yeah, adding to that, they were also saying that Rozemyne's retainers aren't as thorough with their investigations as Ferdinand's retainers, and they still have a lot to learn. So they get a lot of their information from Ferdinand's retainers to protect Rozemyne.
And it's not just that it's thorough because they don't know how to do their job. It's that Ferdinand and his people have had a year and a half in advance to form connections. So they're really relying on that intelligence because, again, Rozemyne is a nobody who just came and stole the foundation. And that is seen actually as an act of aggression. It really is an act of aggression to go and steal a foundation that's not yours. It's an act of aggression. So something weird and crazy happened. The Detland faction and the Letizia faction, which ordinarily were total opposites and they were enemies, they united together, and that is what makes this unholy union of deceit and treachery very very dangerous. Because even Letizia, who does not want her faction to unite with Detlands, she doesn't seem to have the power to tell them to back off. They're just doing the things and they're planning these plans. And how else are you gonna get somebody off your back if you can't steal their foundation back? Basically get rid of them, assassinate them. There's no other way.
In terms of Letizia, I feel like she's weak and she's easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
So
And the kid?
Very much so.
She's a kid.
no, because there's other kids that are nobles that work
Yeah, I
out
know.
better. But
Yeah.
I can understand why Ferdinand wanted, I guarantee Ferdinand wanted to kill her. Like, she needed to die. But because Rozemyne didn't want it, he let her live. But she really needed to die, unfortunately.
And because Meshinora said no killing.
Yeah, there's that too. But she could have been sent to the Ivory Tower. But yeah, no, I didn't agree with. Oh wait, no, that happened before then. That happened before they went up to Mestianora. So he could have totally killed her.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Letizia because it's gonna come up again. Let's put a pin on it because it comes up again in the second story. Okay. But yeah, that's a good point. That's good observations. So we have Grecia's internal monologue, the way she sees Ferdinand's relationship with Rozemyne. She's kind of like, because to her, it's not ideal because it is born out of sheer necessity. He's the only one that can save Rozemyne, but if she'd had her brothers, I kind of feel like she's kind of like hesitant. Like she's not, brainwashed to be like, yes, let's all accept Lord Ferdinand. She's not a Ferdinand fan. She's a Rozemyne fan. And so so she doesn't blindly accept everything that Ferdinand tells them. Like, for example, about the liquid mana and how he was able to make it for Rozemyne. Like, yeah, she's right to, we know she's right to doubt it because it just sounded like, oh yeah, he's a special scholar. He knows these secret things. Okay, that's fine. She also has sees them entering the Foundation Hall and the orders that they received about what they were doing was not following the protocol. So she's like, oh well, I guess it's out of necessity, but she doesn't really take it blindly. Like, yes, let's obey. She's just like, it's necessary, but this is not ideal. Sorry. Who? Jess?
Yeah, and well, I was just thinking that while Justus was telling her how they know every single detail about her, which creeped her out for a bit.
Oh yes.
And
Yeah, it was almost
how they did an entire background investigation on her and every single person that they believed Rozemyne was going to get for her retainers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she was creeped out about it. Like I think she's like concerned about how thorough Ferdinand is and his retainers because it borderlines on stalkerish, like like he's trapping her in a bubble that she doesn't even know she's in the bubble. Like Rozemyne doesn't know she's in the bubble.
Well, I mean,
Hold on a second.
Revelation.
Hold on. First Patrick, then Plamen, please. Thank you.
So they did reveal, well, they confirmed for a lot of us, but they revealed that her home situation was much worse than we were at first led to believe. And yeah, her family and Guy Wiltord and his son, they belong on the wall.
Yes. Oh boy. So we won't go into the details and stuff, and I'm glad that we don't know details. But they were very thorough in their investigation. She was really scared about who knew this information that she thought was kind of kept secret. She had hoped that once the people that had done this to her had died, like nobody else would know. She's afraid that other people, like for example Hartmut and her other retainers, other scholars, would dig up information about her past. But Justus does assure her, like, yeah, it's probably not gonna happen now. But still, if Hartmut really wanted to like investigate her, he could find this information. And
unless he already knows, and we just don't know that.
Yeah, probably. But I think also Hartmut wouldn't be like the bad kind who would, I think he appreciates a fellow Rozemyne worshipper, and I think Gretia fits the bill. And just as he was nice and kind to Feline, very, very considerate of Feline, because she was the only one that was a Rozemyne fangirl that he could talk with, I think he would do the same for Gretia.
I did have a question about this chapter that I guess somewhat connects to the other chapters.
Yeah. Just hold on a second. Oh, Jess, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Plamen, did you go? I forgot.
No, but we already started covering, because I was about to ask, are we going to talk about that before this part? All of it was applied that Gretia suffered verbal abuse, not what was uncovered.
Well, we did get hints of her being like probably they hit her or something like that when she had a high tolerance for pain when she gave her name to Rozemyne. So we knew that they hit her, but we didn't know until now that she was literally assaulted, like sexually assaulted. So yeah. Sorry, Jess. Continue, please.
The recording device, because they said that they were recording what was currently happening in this chapter, and that's what I was wondering about, because in the following chapters our Dunkelfelger special boy is trying to memorize everything with his eyes, and I'm just wondering, are they recording that? Can they record that? How are they recording it? Like, what kind of device is this?
We don't know what kind of device it is. It has been used before, though. And it was always a Ferdinand device. It was a Ferdinand device. And again, high mana, probably it's a Ferdinand device. Or maybe it's a device that's just not widely used. So
it was also a Dunkelfelder device.
But Dunkelfelder also used a device like this when there was a theater match between Ahrensbach and Dunkelfelder for the marriage.
Yeah, okay. There you go. So they just didn't have the foresight to bring it, because it's not Ditter. If Ditter had been involved, then he could have recorded it.
Well, I'm wondering if Hartmut recorded. He probably did have somebody record the ceremony.
Well, the thing is,
he wouldn't share it.
The thing is, the recording tool is big enough. It's really, really big. Like, you could tell in the Ditter that when they said, and they were carrying like this recording device, like you could tell that it was a recording device. I
absolutely love the attached picture for the PrePub that showed Lieseleta in wide-eyed excitement trying to burn the whole ritual into his eyes.
That's so precious. Yeah.
I don't know if it's excitement or more so desperation.
Yeah, we'll talk about it as soon as we get there, because
little column A, little column B.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. What's up, Kadir?
Oh, did anyone mention the fact that she mentioned that all of Rozemyne's namesworns are now becoming a lot more like Hartmut?
Yeah, she did mention that.
Yeah, she did mention that, and she even said it's to the point where now she is okay with dying alongside Rozemyne if she dies.
Yeah.
It seems like they're all suicidal, though. Like, they're like, okay, we're willing. Like, this is almost like 50-50 whether we're gonna die or not. So,
that is
but we're totally gonna go out with her.
Again, it's the influence. It's the influence of the divinity that they're experiencing. They hold her to such high esteem that they're like, if without Our Lady, we're better off dying with her, because we love her and life without her. Yeah, so there's certainly an aspect of like extreme
She also
devotion
was
there.
Yeah, she was also terrified that Rozemyne would die and she would be left behind.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
So imagine how Rozemyne, I mean not, imagine how Ferdinand is feeling, especially after like the previous PrePub where like she rejected Ferdinand as a family member.
Well, she still remembers them, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Patrick?
So, I'm kind of on the fence here about whether the devotion and willingness to die with their lady is the effect of the divine mana, or if they were, at least in Gretia's case, she was that devoted before the divine mana, and definitely in Hartmut's case. But
I think it's more about her actions. For example, there was the ordinances from the gates. One of them was, I think, Matthias, who said that he wanted to do like Hartmut and pray.
Well, right. Certain names sworn were more affected in that way than others, but Gretia, from her internal monologue, I was thinking she may have been that devoted beforehand. She just was she was better at hiding it than Hartmut.
I just say it's a subtle influence, not like outright compulsion.
I have a question about the beginning of this when they were talking before. They're talking about the foundation and Ferdinand being allowed or not allowed to go in. Wouldn't he be allowed to go in anyway, even after all this? Because Rozemyne probably has to go back to school and he has to feed it, right?
Well, he'd like feed it through the supply room.
Yeah, so that they went into the actual foundation hall. So that is a no-no because he's not married yet. They're not married. And actually,
so he can go in there if they're married?
I don't even think if they're married he can go in there. I don't think the only person that can go to foundation hall is Rozemyne. So there's so many. That's why it's so weird for her to see and accept these things because she's the ob, and yeah, you're right, Teal. I don't think even a spouse could go into the foundation hall. Anyway, so
yeah,
let's
because I was really weirded out by that.
Yeah, and she was too, and so was anybody who was like, yeah, she was too, definitely. Protocol says no. Now let's move on. We do have her. We see how there's like a inner conflict within her. This conversation with Justus reveals, that Gretia has a very sad past, and she thinks that she doesn't believe in gods. In fact, one of the things that struck me the most was like she's so angry at the gods. It's like she's almost blaspheming. Like she's like the gods are so stupid and blah blah blah, and she's really outraged on behalf of Rozemyne. But
I was cheering her on when she was
like
ranting
Ferdinand.
against them.
What when she was
Yeah,
what?
she's gonna be on the list.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you finished saying. What you said, Patrick.
I was cheering her on when she was ranting against the gods because I feel the same way. Those gods deserve all that hate.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So, I absolutely see the devotion that she has here, and I absolutely applaud her. There are very few people I feel that would would have Rozemyne like in so much concern. Everybody's usually like seeing to Rozemyne to like save the world, but it's good to see that Gretia is not just somebody that decided to give her name to save her own skin, but she's literally like loves and is absolutely devoted to Rozemyne, and to the point that she said that she would die, in her case, she would be okay with dying and stuff. But at the end, towards the end of the of her epilogue, she decides that, what I have learned with Lady Rozemyne is that the best prayer is the one that you pray for other people rather than for yourself. So that's how the side story ends with that. Now, before and finishing the Gretia side story, to me it was hilarious, you guys, how they were talking about, I am just so worried, she's talking with Justus. He's like, they have a good moment where they both appreciate each other's, wishes. They both have the same wish that they would be more useful to their charges, and also being a little jealous. Justus is jealous of Rozemyne. Gretia is jealous of Ferdinand because they can't do anything like the other. They can't measure up to what they do for their charges.
Yes, that scene was so cute.
It was precious. And then
I don't mean to. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you want to talk more about this? Yeah, go ahead.
I do, absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I loved this moment because Gretia is talking about how she doesn't necessarily hold against Ferdinand because she's glad that Rozemyne has someone to rely on and lean on, but she's so frustrated that she can't be there for her lady in a more substantial way, that she feels like she's losing out to Ferdinand. And Justus, oh, the mad lad that he is, and he's like, I feel the same way because I'm constantly losing out to Rozemyne.
Yeah. And there was...
Sorry to jump in here, but the best part of this scene was how Justus destroyed the mood by acting like a little child and pressing his face to the window to see the magic circle.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
So the moment that Hartmut started sending off the ordinances, we got to see the crazy information gatherer weirdo that is Justus. You forget that deep down inside not deep down inside, just under the veneer of nobility and propriety is like Justus the weirdo. He's the weirdo. You can't take it out of him, and we saw that in action. Meanwhile, Grecia's like looking at him. She's like, I'm not gonna like do something so undignified as to do that. Like, we should be worrying about Lady Rozemyne. And she's like, I don't care. Like, the show is nice, but I'm more worried about Rozemyne. So let's see.
Justus needs to find another weirdo to get together with.
Yeah, I wonder how the future's gonna play out there. Okay, so let's finish. I'm gonna just finish this talking about this one, unless there's something we forgot to mention. No questions, just anything we forgot to mention about this one that we need to really like emphasize. But because I would like to go to the next chapter. Anything else I missed?
We forgot to mention about how one of Rozemyne retainers, I forgot which one
Lieseleta.
was, that was feeling bad that old workers talk will not receive that blessing.
Yeah, there was talk about or workers stock being included in the blessing, but Gretia was like, no, like I don't know who this like this person is out of line. We should not be sympathizing with these people. They attacked Ahrensbach. They're traitors, so no, like they don't deserve Rozemyne's mana. They don't deserve to be included in the whole blessing ritual. Which I guess is for the good, because I don't know if Rozemyne would have had enough to cover all of an entire half duchy. It would have been very strenuous on her. All right, so let's move on. Hold on.
Also, according to Gretia, even if they managed to include them, they would still find a reason to hate her.
Yeah, that is true. They're the kind of people that would do that. Ungrateful punks. All right. Let's move on. No more interruptions.
I'm sorry, but I think we missed one thing.
Okay.
Wasn't Hartmut kind of throwing it in Justus's face when he sent his ordinance that oh, I can watch this and you can't. Ha 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 ha.
I know. Little punk. Many punks around here. Okay, moving on to the next chapter, the transfer ceremony, Hannelore POV. So who is there? Who's who? We have baptized Archduke candidate. Children are welcome, but aside from Melchior, probably no other non-academy age child is there. Remember, that was the whole purpose of letting non-baptized kids, even though they're not Royal Academy kids, join, is because Rozemyne wanted Melchior to see it. So yes, Melchior is there. Good for him. Also, we have Dunkelfalger's second wife's child. So we didn't know, but he does have a second wife, and it's a girl called Lungtace. Lungta. What a horrid little name, but okay. I feel sorry for her. She's the younger female child of the second wife. But my question is, why not her older brother? She said because of disrespect reasons. Wonder what that is. I'm not looking for answers, but it just struck me. As to...
I thought there was a lot of children there.
Yeah, there were, but I'm just saying mentioning some of the highlighted people. But she did mention that that some specific people by name. Then we have
I think it was said that pretty much all of them were academy age. Very few were pre-academy.
Yes, that's what I said. Like, they welcomed baptized kids, but aside from Melchior, who was the only one mentioned, it seemed like it was just Royal Academy age kids and above. Yes.
And all the blue robes from Ehrenfest.
The blue robes from Ehrenfest.
Yeah, but she also said that the children have yet to enroll in the Royal Academy.
Well, we'll see.
Lungtas, yes.
Yeah, for Lungtas, probably. Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Magpie is desperately trying to push us along.
I'm trying to push us ahead, you guys. I really am, and at this point, there's two people I would have. Let's move on, you guys. So, Lieseleta forced his way there almost when he heard that Eglantine and Rozemyne were about to whirl. However, he was forbidden from bringing his art things to the ceremony. Much to his chagrin, all the ceremony long, he was like, he was fidgeting, his fingers were tapping, he was widening his eyes, almost like he didn't want to blink. So all throughout the story, we see all this Lieseleta. So I'll just open it up here. You guys talk about Lieseleta to your heart's content, so we can move on and we don't return to this. Okay,
yeah,
Lieseleta.
There's a line from the story from Lieseleta when they were discussing with Hannawar that Rozemyne is about to marry someone, and the line is, and you think that someone is Ferdinand? I read that like really passive aggressive.
In terms of Lieseleta, he ends up like towards the end. They already know that he's gonna lock himself in his room for like a long time, and it's gonna be hard to get him out. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I'm like, maybe he shouldn't be Ob at all. maybe they should give it to his sister.
Yeah, there will be no more parchment in the entire duchy.
Anything else about Lieseleta?
He'll give up. I think he would literally give up Ditter for painting.
he probably would. It was hilarious how he was just drumming his fingers on like the banister or something, just like, I want to paint. Mm-hmm. And then Rozemyne starts dancing. He's just awestruck. He can't do anything.
Mm-hmm. And his mother is like right behind him, all pissed off. And
the illustration.
And Hannah. Well, she was.
I think that's one of the memes too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mother was telling him like, chill out, and Hannah's like, I can't believe I'm related to this. she's like, why?
At one point, I think there was a line that says she just wanted to edge away from him in her seat. She was edging away from her brother because he was so cringy.
I think
the amount of times reading this chapter, I said like, oh, poor Hannawar.
I think my favorite part of this scene was when Hannawar finally shows some backbone and chastises her brother.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, I really feel bad for Lieseleta's wife. Like, Jesus Christ.
So, while we're on this topic of Lieseleta, he points out, like, there's Melchior, who'll probably be the next Ob, and there's that loser Wilfried.
I actually felt a little bad for Wilfried here.
He was like, what is that fool smiling for? He was like criticizing him for being all smiley and careless.
Well, I was cracking up during a lot of his commentary because he is so out of the loop. Like, he has no idea exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Even his dad he's like, I'm not Zent, so I don't know nothing.
I know, and there were some things that they did disclose at this point, and like, because the parents, they were there, they were at the room where it happened, where like the pale-faced royals and Ferdinand and Rozemyne and everything, like that meeting, they were there. But I'm glad to see that they didn't keep their kids in the dark, though. Like, they did disclose some things, like, like you see Zent Eglantine, she's there, but she had to pay a huge price. And and even if they didn't mention straight out everything, even Hannelore was able to connect the dots. So they're doing their best to inform their kids of the stuff that happened.
So they
when I saw...
Hold on a second, Jazz.
I'm sorry, Jazz. Go ahead, Jazz. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just realized that Rozemyne has her stone, so, and Rozemine's currently almost dying, so if she dies, the Zent dies. And everybody, so I was Ferdinand was mentioning it, I think in the previous part. I was like, oh, that's what he meant. Yeah, I totally forgot that she had her stone.
Yeah. Again, we talk about Lieseleta. He's really realizes all of the stuff that Ferdinand was doing behind the scenes. So he's like, yeah, that's why we call him the Lord of Evil. And I'm surprised his heart hasn't turned into stone by now. And it's precious.
So the whole time that their parents are dropping little hints, I have to mention that they have to take pains to be subtle about it, because they can't outright say what happened behind the scenes.
That, and they're making the royal family look good, like they didn't do anything.
Yeah. And it seems like Hannelore is the only one who's really paying attention, starting to put the dots together.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lieseleta is too right now focused on carving the image. I want
to paint.
Yep. He's too. That's his priority. Yeah.
This has found another focus for his attention.
Stop it.
Maybe that's a Dunkelfelger trait, like a one-track mind. I mean, most of them are one-track towards Ditter, but once you switch to something else, that's what your focus is on.
Yeah. And I don't see that just because he is like really focused on art will make him a bad op. He has been trained and he has been trained. He has a proper superiority that would come from somebody of the first rank duchy. And also, his mother has handpicked Sieglin 2.0. I think her name was Ainsliebe or something like that, to be his wife. And basically, if she's anything like Sieglin, she will help to curb the enthusiasm for art. And I have confidence that they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
Can I say?
Oh yes, Teal, go ahead.
Ainsliebe kind of translates to one love. One of three.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, can you really compete with Eglantine and Rozemyne, like both in like these, like, oh my gosh. It's gonna take it's gonna take a strong woman to live with that kind of shadow, knowing that your husband is an admirer of these larger than life figures.
Now that you mention Eglantine, he did make a comment about how he wished Eglantine would have done her twirling first and then Rozemyne.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Patrick.
I just wanted to mention that it seems that Sieglind is the Elvira for Dunkelfelder. Like, she's the maker.
I suppose so, yeah. She does have like a good, strong and steady hand to deal with situations. Yeah, that's good. All right, so let's continue on. We have, I think we got a whole bunch of Lieseleta out of the way. So,
wait, we cannot move along before we mentioned that Hannelore felt bad when Lieseleta mentioned that Rozemyne is not the first one to tower over her, and she started feeling that she didn't lose at least.
So, in typical Big Brother fashion, Lieseleta reminds her, yeah, well, now she used to be okay with Rozemyne, you know, but now she also towers over you. You're a shorty. And not only that, but before, when the actual story started, one of the first things that Hannelore says is, oh, at last I am favored by the goddess of time. All of this praying will have paid off. But then he's like, what are you feeling so confident about? When you graduate, you're gonna have to whirl with these like beautiful people. So why are you feeling so calm? And she's like, oh, damn it. Oh man, Lieseleta.
Poor Hannelore.
You can definitely
And Hannelore,
yeah, what is it?
Hannelore thinks she has to compete with divine mana.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like Melchior then.
So
poor Hannelore.
So Hannelore has to step it up. Hannelore, I know you did true dinner, but you have to step it up. I don't know. Maybe she can do it if she has proper Dunkelfelger determination. Who knows what she can do before now in graduation? So all right. So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
I just thought of something. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say how it was amazing how they were able to hide the fact that things were definitely not going according to plan when Rozemyne disappeared and continued on with the ceremony to have Eglantine go and meet the gods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, you're right about that. Now, one of the things that happens here is when this happened, you guys, I could feel the tension. like okay, things are not going according to plan, you guys. We have Rozemyne vanished, and then now freaking like Eglantine has to follow up that freaking light show of magic in her own. Despite everything, I felt kind of like, oops, sorry, Eglantine, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Kind of felt sorry for her, not really. The needle went up to like 90% though, so 90% sorry for Eglantine. But she still did a really good job though. Her whirling technique was superior. So yeah, let's see, what else? Now, we see that Eglantine and Anastasius, though, they have like an added air of gravitas, though. Like all this experience, all that they've gone through, the responsibility that's upon them, you can now tell that it's there. Eglantine has lost some of that usual gentle demeanor. She's now like, okay, so this is important. Life is at stake. We better execute this properly or things are just gonna like hit the fan. But, never fear, Ferdinand, the Lord of Evil, is pulling the strings. And so the ceremony starts. And again, they have Eglantine enters. We see the blessing. And of course, seeing all of this from Hannelore's point of view, we don't realize just what craziness is happening behind the scenes. We're just like, wow, beautiful blessing. Wow, Rozemyne can do all these things. Meanwhile, Rozemyne is freaking out inside because she's losing control of her mana. She comes out, there's like waves of divine Mystionora flowing from her, and they can actually feel like the influence of divine mana. And this is a page's worth of Hannelore being amazed. Literally, it's not just a paragraph. It's like 3 or 4 paragraphs of Hannelore just describing her awe at this show. Yes, Jess?
Cute.
Yeah, also, Dunkelfelger told her because she was wondering why Rozemyne wasn't holding the tool, and he's like, she can't control the goddess died mana.
Mm-hmm.
It would turn into dust.
Yep. Yes.
And then their jaws dropped because they couldn't conceive how powerful she is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, like, people don't realize the strain that Rozemyne is going through at the moment. If I went back to read a little bit of that, I was like, dude, this girl was burning up. She was like freaking out inside. And yet Hannelore says like Rozemyne looked like calm and smiled beautifully. Like you couldn't see like any trace of her discomfort going on. And I was just like, I am so proud of you, Rozemyne. Like yes, you're a gremlin and you're unpredictable, but you have come such a long way. And unfortunately, you're suffering right now, but it's just one of the ways that she's grown as a noble, too.
Even Anastasius would have no complaints.
Yeah.
I think
First Jas and then Kadir.
I think Rozemyne is a little stuck in her noble demeanor, and I'm not just talking about because of her memories. Because at one point when she finally reunited with Ferdinand's like, yeah, that's not your real smile. I don't. It happened before this, so I don't remember it when it happened. But he said, so she's been in her noble demeanor this entire time. So a lot of the times Rozemyne's smiling and stuff like that, it's not for real.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, we don't know exactly when it's like her, especially after she loses her memory, like when it's her being a noble, when it's her training kicking in. But yeah, it's good to see that it's still part of her life experiences have shaped her thus far, and for better or worse, some people might miss seeing it, but in her cutthroat world that she's entering, it's important because we learned that even the people of her duchy that she conquered, they want to kill her. So Rozemyne, keep working at it. Be careful. So Kadir, yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I remember Rozemyne also having this problem, like, during her first year in the academy, when she had, like, these bracelet that works like crutches. She kept accidentally destroying all the face stones around her.
Yeah. And then we have, like I said before, when Rozemyne whirls first, and then she disappears. Like, there's a whole bunch of tension, because first of all, one, who can top such a performance? It was amazing, and she disappeared, and the gates closed again, and they're like, okay, what now? And then so Eglantine had to go up there and do the whole whirling thing. Thankfully, I was like, are they gonna open? How long will it take to open? Like, I knew they were gonna open, but I didn't know if we remember, Evermean was like, oh, I feel somebody trying to get in, and well, they don't have all the qualifications, but okay, I'll let them in. So I was like, imagine if he hadn't, though. Imagine if he hadn't let Eglantine in. Ooh, that would have been bad, you guys. So bad. Because I could feel, and I also did a collective sigh when the things opened, and then again, Hartmut was like, oh, well, the gods have welcomed you, please go in. And she was able to go in, escorted by Anastasius, who was not allowed through the barrier. Ooh, ouch. In front of all the nobles of Jürgenschmidt, who used to be a prince and a contender for Zent, is like absolutely rejected. And I was like, dang.
I was not surprised about this one.
I was not. I didn't feel no guilt at all.
I don't feel guilt, but like,
yeah, I mean, in this,
but just like
in the ceremony, he did nothing.
Yeah, I know, but just like the sheer optics of like a prince who's like, oh dang, like even a prince did not make it through. Like, it's like shameful. So
no, I see it more like he has not even tried. So why would he come in if he not tried?
You guys are all talking at the same time. Vincent, finish your thought, and then Patrick, please.
I said, why would he come in? He has never tried to open the door. To do this, he had to wail, and he have not done that. So why would he get an invite? He
and his family did try to do the dedication dance, but while the circle did shine, they still weren't. The doors didn't open. Because again, they didn't have all the qualifications. Yeah. Patrick?
I just love the snide remarks made by Alb Dunkelfelder and Lady Siegeland.
Oh yeah? Such as which one?
Just what they were saying about Anastasius and how he was pretty much getting what he deserved. How he's not worthy.
Oh, dang.
The entire story is a big L for the entire royal family. I remember that cute part when Hannah wore correct herself in her mind from saying King Traugot to War Traugot.
Yeah. Jess, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say, Prince Anastasius, or Lord Anastasia, whatever you want to call him, he confuses me sometimes, because sometimes he's smart, and then sometimes he's really stupid. And this is one of the times he decided to be really dumb, because I'm pretty sure he knew that he wouldn't be able to go.
Well,
but he's still, because he's still attached to his wife.
Yeah. So in his defense, I don't think the barrier was visible, and two, the opening had never opened, and they had never gone through. So it's like, okay, I'll just escort her up. But it was the first time for everybody, so we have to cut him a little bit of slack in this case. Yeah, and I of all the royals, well, no, not even, because Adolphine is my favorite and the best and the most awesome. But Anastasius has a little bit of sympathy. Yeah. He's now eye candy consort, says Jenny M. Anastasius, the eye candy consort. It is Lord Consort Anastasius. Yes, that's his new title. All right, so wait, what is this corruption? Philip, what did I corrupt? What? Corruption? Anyway. So, okay. So, at the end...
Join the cult! Join the cult!
So, things seldom go to plan. She goes up there, they return. And again, they return, and Eglantine and Rozemyne are holding hands when they return. They feel an even greater presence of divinity from Rozemyne than before, because we know what happened behind the scenes. That's when they dumped a whole bunch of on her. And again, they return. Again, all this time, Ferdinand has been missing. He just randomly reappears too. We know, of course,
Ferdinand,
why.
He sang. He sang for Rozemyne.
He sang for Rozemyne. And played.
I went back to the anime just to hear him sing, but yeah, I was like, he sang. He like sang and then he dipped.
Yeah. Yes, we know why he dipped. We know exactly why he dipped.
Can I mention
Ferdinand on a
Hold on a second. Yeah, Tia, please.
Well, in the web novel, this chapter actually came first before Rozemyne's perspective. So while we know why, as light novelers, it really was quite the thing back in the day.
Oh. Yes, so I believe there were some... Is it because of the web novel switched around the chapters?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Usually there aren't non-Rozemyne perspectives in the web novel,
but sometimes you do get them.
MTL demons.
I knew he was going to say that.
Get away from here, Patrick. You're one yourself. You joined us in the web novel
I don't know
channel.
what you're talking about.
Hypocrite. You have joined us in the web novel.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
And
how dare you malign me like
Don't call us that. It's a hurtful name. We're just doing the best that we can.
Okay.
I was when they were describing how Lady Eglantine has been recognized by the gods, I was cracking up because I'm like, no, she hasn't.
Yeah,
this is all fake. She went up there.
It's all
she went up
fake.
there and the book was under the tree.
Yeah, yes, it was in a bundle. I just remarking on how Everman was like, oh, I can't believe he left some stuff here. He's now using this place as a storage room. It was there all the time. So Eglantine makes... I want to move on. I'm sorry, you guys. I really want to move on. We're way late and I want to finish. So Eglantine makes a vow. She's crowned with the crown of from Rozemyne's Stab. She is crowned as Zent. Then Rozemyne does a magic circle of omni-elemental blessing, which is beautiful and amazing. And Eglantine finally shows her Gudrun's height, which is to the amazement. And even Hannelore is moved. She's like, after so many years without having the Gudrun's height, we finally have someone who has the Gudrun's height, and how amazing it is. And, the ceremony quickly ends. Well, not ends, but Rozemyne, Eglantine, and their escorts get out. And then Troarqual, at which point Lestalot rushes out to lock himself to draw. And then Troarqual is forced to give an impromptu speech, saying some of the stuff that that they were going to announce anyway at the Archduke Conference. But other than that, in Hannelor's point of view, she says that it was his recounting of what happened is twisted in favor of royalty while simultaneously minimizing the involvement of those from Ahrensbach. But it's a public-facing interpretation of the revolt, so I'm sure he also had his own script to read from. And finally, we get Ainlib. We had already talked about her. What's this? Lestalot's intended wife, and it was good to see. And so that, I think, covers most of the stuff for this chapter. Anything else that I missed? No questions, just anything else that I missed from this chapter that is worth pointing out.
Hannelore.
Okay, first Plamen and then Teal, please.
That Lestalot mother at the end of the story kind of summarized that something unexpected happened and that I will have to investigate.
There was something.
Oh, hold on a second,
wasn't
Jess.
mentioned.
Jess, hold on. Teal first, and then you go. Teal?
Hannelore might have been the only person to realize that Ferdinand went missing.
Oh, and another thing. Sorry, before speaking of Ferdinand, she's like, well, if he was going to be married to Rozemyne because of the whole Ahrensbach and thing situation. Oh, I forgot to talk about that. Then why did I work so hard to pair them together? Okay, we'll talk about that as soon as Jess does her thought. Jess?
We forgot to mention how when the Blue Priest all stood up or whatever, and everybody from Irmfest all stood up in that pose, and everybody else is looking like, should we stand up? Like, what do we do?
Yes. So at the end of the ceremony, Hartmut had everybody pray, and the only people that actually stood were the Ehrenfest people, which was expected because they are from Rosamyne's place, and Melchior also stood up. But then the surprising thing, I'm getting there. The surprising thing was that the Ahrensbach people also stood up and they also did the prayer pose, which goes to show you the progress that they made on the brainwashing. Yes. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Jess. I've forgotten. Okay, one last thing I really do need to talk about, though, is the whole situation, the political situation with Ahrensbach and Letizia and what's going to happen and the engagement with Ferdinand and Rozemyne and all that stuff. So basically, they are right now at a point where they're kind of like seeing like how they're going to move forward. Remember, Ferdinand told Rozemyne, leave Lieseleta, Letizia, sorry, leave the Letizia situation to me. And she's like, cool, whatever. So right now they haven't really done anything to like say like she's going to be punished or anything. It's her fate is still kind of in limbo, at least to us. But they can't disobey the rule of not adopting Letizia because it was mandated by the Zend. They could go and say like, okay, well, we have a new Zend, so that rule or that order is void. But then that would, if they did that, that would absolutely, wipe away the whole reasoning of Rozemyne and marrying Ferdinand, because it's also part of a royal decree. So they have to play it by ear going forward to see, because they have to comply with both orders, which is adopt Letizia and make her your heir, and also marry the young, unexperienced Ob of Ahrensbach, which in this case is now Alexandria. So not everything is settled. There's still a lot of valuable and unexpected and unaccounted for elements that they have to work towards. So I know, like with Rozemyne's point of view, we just see her like, okay, now that she's get rid of her mana, all we have to worry about is the new duchy and the Interquel in her library. And I love it. It's her naivete is beautiful and precious, but there's a lot more that these POVs show us, like, it's not over yet. There's so much that we have to get through, and I'm sure that we're gonna see them, I hope, deal with all of these issues, the political issues, in the next volume, if not in the next couple of stories. All right, so that was thing. Sorry, we are out of time, so we'll finish. We'll continue talking offline, Jess, unless there's something that we really need to point out that we missed. Offline. Okay, we will. So yeah, it is past 1 o'clock, you guys. I have had so much fun talking about this, and you guys, we will hopefully return to the ordinary time, 4 o'clock Pacific next week. If not, it'll return to this one, but be on the lookout for the announcement on Twitter, or probably not Twitter, but on the YouTube. If you're not subscribed, or you don't have your notifications on, then please do so. And if you have any other thoughts that we didn't get through, let us know in the comments. Always look forward to reading your thoughts in there as well. And join us on Ko-fi if you want to support this channel. And yeah, until next week, you guys, it was really awesome to talk and hang out. Bye bye, everybody. Say bye bye, gang.